Not with us on News Talk 590 KLBJ AM. Lots going on across the nation and in Texas. Texas, according to every information we've heard, still too close to call on the presidential race. Bill Clinton doing very well, as you heard CBS talk about just a minute ago, saying that he is on the verge of being elected president in the Electoral College. And we've talked about that already. Electoral, popular vote, two different things. We'll talk more about that throughout the evening. What's happening in Austin tonight? We've got Ed Scruggs at the Palmer Auditorium monitoring the vote count in Travis County. Suzanne Chapman is at the Hyatt Regency Hotel, where there are at least one surprise for a Democratic candidate in Texas. We'll talk to her in just a minute. And Patty Sandoval is roaming Austin, checking in with the Republican Party folks, and also we'll check in with Ross Perot, see what the mood is at the Perot headquarters here in the Austin area. The celebrations are on the Democratic headquarters. That's what's happening this evening there so far. Suzanne Chapman files this report at the Hyatt Regency Hotel.
People are really excited here at Hyatt Regency Hotel, where Democrats are gathering to hear about the results of the Clinton-Gore race and other races like Lena Guerrero.
KLBJ News Time 8:31. We will make contact with Suzanne Chapman in just a few minutes. Obviously, some technical problems with that report. The news that is coming out regarding the Texas Railroad Commission race is that CBS News is declaring Barry Williamson the winner in that race. Democrat Lena Guerrero, former Texas Railroad Commission chairman, defeated tonight, according to information polling data from the CBS Radio network. Lena Guerrero resigned her seat on the Texas Railroad Commission a couple of months ago, admitted that she lied to Texans about her college education. Also in that race, Libertarian Richard Draheim, but not factoring into the Texas Railroad Commission race. So that's one thing that we know at this particular point in time. Several races of importance in Travis County. Ed Scruggs will check in with us at 8:45, giving us the latest rundown on all the races, including judicial races in Travis County, hotly contested sheriff's race. Looks like it could go down to the wire. At this particular point in time in Travis County, the early votes, the votes that were cast prior to and up to October 30th, have been tallied, and we know those results, but only now beginning to see the precinct results from today trickling in. So we'll check in with Ed Scruggs at Palmer Auditorium for that information. In Williamson County, they are beginning to make some progress. They had a lack of ballots, apparently, because of the number of folks that turned out at the polls. They started the evening counting the early votes by hand, are making progress. We're beginning to see some results from Williamson County. We'll get those to you shortly. And in Hays County, we have 4 races that are being contested in Hays County. The sheriff's race, Paul Hastings, that is the Democrat and incumbent sheriff in Hays County. Based on early voting, has 53% of the vote compared to his opponent, Bobby Kenzer, Republican. Precinct number 3, the county commissioner race. We've got some information there. Jeanine Poole, the Democrat, is leading that race. Commissioner Precinct 1 in Hays County, Pedro Rodriguez leads as well. Constable Precinct 3, Don Amerson leading in Hays County. Not very much in terms of the contested races in Hays County. There are 4. Williamson County, several other races that are being contested as well. KLBJ News Time 8:34. Let's go now live to Patty.
47%, Jeff Hill, the Libertarian, far behind. State Representative, 47. Susan Combs, a commanding lead with 65% of...
Calls.
AP Election Watch, live from our election center in Washington. I'm Bob Moon.
And I'm Mark Smith. A fifth of the way home this election night, and Bill Clinton leads George Bush by 3 points in the popular vote, 43 to 40%, with 22% of the vote counted.
But the gulf in the electoral vote is widening, and if current trends hold, the Arkansas governor will become the 42nd president of the United States.
Clinton has won 13 states so far for a total of 125 electoral votes. 270 are required for victory, but Clinton is leading in 15 others.
Bush has won 5 states for 46 electoral votes. Ross Perot is leading in very early returns in Montana and has 17% of the popular vote.
If current trends hold on Capitol Hill, Democrats will pick up 3 seats in the Senate. Among those...
Yes.
Percent.
And how late do you think we'll be up to see that come about?
Well, I think that it'll probably be another hour or 2 before it's absolutely clear, but we are very strong in the West Texas areas, particularly in the state, and those returns come in late.
Do you think that the president put in enough effort to take his adopted home state?
Yes, I believe that he has. It's probably more effort than he really would have liked to put in, but we will carry the state for the president.
The last time around, it was by about 1 million votes, or close to it, 700,000, I guess. What would you say the margin is going to be in 1992?
Well, I think that we'll win by 3 or 4 percentage points, and there'll be somewhere around 6 million votes cast, so that will be somewhere in the 250,000.
Fred Meyer, state chairman for the Republicans in Florida, thanks for joining us. On the line now is the state chairman of Illinois, Florida Republican State Chairman Van Poole. Mr. Poole, sorry for the confusion, but we understand that Florida is still off the boards in terms of any decision. What is your bet on how long it might take to reach a decision there tonight?
Bill, we still have people waiting in line to vote, is my understanding from the Secretary of State's office, so it probably will be another 30, 45 minutes before the polls close, but we're confident that it'll fall in George Bush's column.
What do you think the critical factors will be, particularly Ross Perot?
Well, Perot definitely took from the president. I think that was his strategy from the very beginning. But when you look at with what Perot gets and what the president gets, there's definitely no mandate coming out of Florida by any means for Bill Clinton.
Well, what does it say also about George Bush, who captured the state 4 years ago with his biggest margin anywhere?
Well, the circumstances were entirely different this time, and, you know, him being the incumbent and the economy was just a tough thing to deal with, and we were expecting and have been preparing for a close race for the last year.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Poole, Van Poole, the Republican state chairman. We can report that right now Mr. Bush has a 42% to 39% edge, with about 9% of the Florida precincts reporting. Ross Perot pulling a strong 19% in third place there. And some of the biggest support for Bill Clinton is in the Tampa Bay area. He's pulling about 64% of the vote in the Tampa Bay region. You're listening to continuing CBS News election coverage on the CBS Radio Network.
Radio BFI.
Making good news this hour, Dateline, Austin, Texas. The people have shown they're concerned about keeping Central Texas pristine, and BFI has a wide array of solid waste services that can help you do just that. BFI services are available to individuals, large and small businesses, medical firms, and communities in the heart of the Lone Star State. In other good news, a 4-day, 30-hour work week will be law soon.
BFI. Commercial or industrial waste collection. BFI. Construction debris. BFI. Residential waste collection. BFI. Stationary compactors. BFI. Office recycling programs and services. BFI. Responsive, reliable service with modern radio dispatch trucks. BFI. Waste systems. In this day and age, it's nice to know one call to BFI can solve all your solid waste problems. Call BFI at 247-5647 or check your local yellow pages. BFI. A part of the solid waste solution in Central Texas.
It's fun, informative, and as necessary as breakfast. Good Morning News, weekday mornings from 5:30 till 9 on News Talk 590 KLBJ AM.
KLBJ News Time, 7:58. Good evening. Thanks for being with us. I'm Janet Evans. This is live continuing coverage of Campaign 92, and KLBJ's coverage of Campaign 92 includes this late word from the CBS Radio Network, projecting, as you heard just a few minutes ago, that Barry Williamson is the winner of a seat on the Texas Railroad Commission, defeating former Texas Railroad Commission chairperson Lena Guerrero, who resigned the position back in September after admitting that she lied about having a college education. So CBS News is projecting Barry Williamson the winner of a seat on the Texas Railroad Commission. We will go live next hour to Suzanne Chapman, who is standing by at the Hyatt Regency Hotel here in Austin, where the Democrats are holding their Unity 92 party this evening, and that is where Lena Guerrero is watching the returns come in. We'll get reaction from Lena Guerrero as soon as it becomes available. But Suzanne Chapman will be talking to a spokesperson for Lena Guerrero, who is obviously dismayed by what has happened so far this evening. KLBJ AM's coverage of Campaign 92 is sponsored by Half Price Books. Our cellular phone service tonight is provided through the courtesy of GTE MobileNet. And special thanks as well to John at I Love Video Pizza in North Austin. Thanks for the food, John. It's great and we appreciate it. The KLBJ AM election crew really appreciates it. The news of this hour is sponsored by Apple Auto Leasing and the Texas Clothier. Keep it tuned to News Talk 590 KLBJ AM as our coverage, continuous coverage of Campaign 92 continues. At the tone, it will be exactly 8 o'clock in Austin.
happens. It happens on News Talk 590, KLBJ AM Austin.
CBS News, this is Frank Sedapani at CBS News election headquarters in New York. Polling places have closed in more than 40 states now, and it appears that Bill Clinton is on the verge of claiming the presidency. In states where voting ended at this hour, we're able to estimate that Clinton is the winner in Colorado, Minnesota, New Mexico, New York, and Rhode Island. We estimate that President Bush has won Nebraska. Clinton, at last count, had 238 electoral votes, short of the 270 needed for election. With votes from the West still not counted, a 400 electoral vote landslide and a firm mandate for change is not out of the question. Let's check in now with correspondents at our regional desks, beginning with Nick Young on the Midwest desk.
Well, Frank, it's been a solid night for Bill Clinton in the Midwest. He has won Illinois, Michigan, and Missouri. He is leading in Ohio. He's in close races in both North Carolina and Kansas. And he is leading in Wisconsin. Now, John Glenn in Ohio had a very bruising fight to survive in order to win re-election to a fourth term. Ohio Lieutenant Governor Michael DeWine took off the gloves early, hammering at Glenn for failure to repay a 6-year-old campaign debt of $3 million. He also tried to score on Glenn's ties to Lincoln Savings and Loan head Charles Keating. But when all was said and done, Glenn held the voters he needed, including Reagan Democrats and blue-collar workers. Now let's check the East with correspondent Doug Poling.
Well, the polls have closed in all the eastern states and in the District of Columbia, New York, and Rhode Island, the latest to close just moments ago, and no surprises there. Both states have gone for Governor Clinton. That means all the states in this region and their 127 electoral votes have gone for Bill Clinton. In most of these states, it wasn't even close. Only New Jersey had a close contest, 43% Clinton, 42% President Bush. And now look at the South and Mitchell Krause.
The South's big enchiladas, Texas, with 32 electoral votes. So far, it's very close there. Ross Perot is getting 1 in 5 Texas votes and hurting Mr. Bush more than Governor Clinton. The other big southern state, Florida, no clear trend there yet. Clinton has won Georgia, Kentucky, Arkansas, and Tennessee, while Mr. Bush has South Carolina and Oklahoma and leads in Virginia and Alabama. And now for a look at the West, David Dow.
As Frank mentioned, Bill Clinton has become the first projected Democratic presidential winner in Colorado and New Mexico since the Johnson landslide in 1964. As expected, Republican Senator John McCain in Arizona has won re-election. In Colorado, Democratic Congressman Ben Nighthorse Campbell has become the 4th Native American to win a Senate seat. And Arizonans have voted down tight abortion restrictions, but voted for a state holiday honoring Martin Luther King, settling an old controversy. Frank?
Term limitation proposals for members of the House and Senate are on the ballot in 14 states. We now can say that they have passed in 4 states, with Arizona joining Missouri, Ohio, and Florida, which approved term limits earlier in the evening. Once again, Bill Clinton leading in the electoral vote now with 238 to 33 for President Bush. This is CBS News.
Looking for new ways to boost productivity? Try listening. This is the sound of a copier that offers 85 very affordable copies a minute, remote monitoring, and a 3-year guarantee. Introducing the Meta DC 8585, a rare opportunity for business to radically improve productivity simply by pushing a button. Meta, the image specialist. For full details, call 1-800-858-MITA.
Garlic is a good idea. And now Kwai odor-free garlic tablets give you all the goodness of garlic without the problems. Kwai concentrated garlic tablets are tiny and easy to swallow. Kwai's special coating takes it gently through your stomach to help prevent the odor and burping you can get from other garlic preparations. So make garlic part of your everyday diet with Kwai. Garlic is a good idea, and Kwai odor-free tablets give you all the goodness of garlic without the problems. Kwai, KWAI, at drug, health food, and GNC stores.
This is Dan Raviv. A hospital in Los Angeles says a tumor removed from Audrey Hepburn's colon was found to be cancerous, but not very malignant, the hospital says. Doctors believe cancer did not spread through the actress's body. U.S. negotiations with the European community over world trade appear to be in trouble. After another round in Chicago, Agriculture Secretary Edward Madigan said he'll recommend that American sanctions be slapped on European products, the dispute over farm subsidies. Recapping presidential election results as they're coming in, as polls are closing, still open in part of the country. CBS News now estimates that Governor Clinton has won New York, Colorado, Minnesota, New Mexico, Rhode Island, and Delaware. President Bush has won Nebraska, adding to earlier total. CBS News now estimates that Bill Clinton has won 238 electoral votes, President Bush 33, 238 for Clinton, 270 needed to win the White House. I'm Dan Raviv, CBS News.
If the idea of driving a new car sounds good, but the hassle of a fast deal and high monthly rates doesn't, call Apple Leasing, 346-9977. As an independent leasing company, Apple Leasing offers top-quality cars at low monthly rates and absolutely no money down. A painless way to do business. Leasing your car through Apple means quality, luxury, and huge savings. In fact,
Apple Leasing guarantees the lowest prices in town. This week's special, a fully loaded Suburban.
call for details, 346-9977, Apple Leasing.
Have you ever wanted a coat that was just absolutely perfect for Austin, Texas?
Dane Higdon, the Texas Clothian.
Our classic field jacket is that. It's made in America, perfectly weighted to Austin's climate. It has a flannel chest piece in it, satin hips so it doesn't pull your pants up, and the sleeves are satin lined too, so it's easy to get on. And there's tons of room to accommodate a sweater. Barn coats or field coats, whatever you call them. We got them at the Texas Clothier.
2905 San Gabriel in Gabriel's Court.
News, sports, weather, traffic, and business news. You get it all every weekday from 4 till 6 on News Talk 590 KLBJ AM.
This is KLBJ AM's continuous coverage of Campaign 92. Here is KLBJ AM News Director Janet Evans.
KLBJ News Time, 8:06. Good evening. Thanks for spending election night with us on News Talk 590 KLBJ AM. As you heard from the CBS Radio Network, Bill Clinton has a commanding lead in the Electoral College. It's looking like very strange, though. The Electoral College, Bill Clinton has a great lead built up there. Popular vote, President Bush continues to lead Bill Clinton by about a 42% to 39% margin, with only about 10% of the nationwide vote counted. Folks, the polls on the West Coast beginning to close about this particular point in time. So we'll be getting updates this hour from the CBS Radio Network on not only the presidential races, but also what's happening in Congress, what's happening, obviously, in the House and Senate, the anti-incumbent mood. Did that hold out? How many incumbents are actually going back to Washington, D.C. as members of Congress? Here within the state of Texas, we have 32 electoral votes. Still too close to call, according to all sources, how the state of Texas will go tonight, whether it will go for George Bush, Ross Perot, or Bill Clinton. We also have at stake 30 U.S. House seats, 23 incumbents running for U.S. House seats. Railroad Commission, the CBS Radio Network, is projecting Barry Williamson the winner over Lena Guerrero, former Railroad Commissioner Lena Guerrero, and Libertarian candidate Richard Draheim. That's in the Railroad Commission race. Also have all 181 members of the state legislature up for re-election, or election as it were tonight. 3 Supreme Court justices, 3 Court of Criminal Appeals judges, that is, and 15 members of the State Board of Education. Also some very key races in Travis County. Let's go now at 8:08 live to the Palmer Auditorium, where KLBJ AM's Ed Scruggs is monitoring developments in Travis County. Ed, what's the latest?
Janet, we have all of the absentee and early ballots, 118,000 cast. Briefly, some of the major races we're following. Travis County Sheriff Stacy Suits and Terry Keel. Suits leads 49% to 47%. State Representative 47. Susan Combs, the Republican, a commanding lead over Jimmy Day, 65% to 35%. District 51, Glenn Maxey leading commandingly, 72% of the vote over Republican Dick Mallory. And for Congress, Jake Pickle with 69% of the vote, followed by Republican Herb Spiro, Terry Blum, Jeff Davis, and Stephen Hopkins trailing far behind. Reporting from Palmer Auditorium, Ed Scruggs, News Talk 590, KLBJ AM.
KLBJ News Time, 8:09. Williamson County and Hays County also have some key elections going on this evening. In Hays County, that is, only 4 contested races being decided, and these are the results as we have at this particular point in time. Early voting, the votes from early voting that ended last Friday have been counted in Hays County. In the race for sheriff, Paul Hastings is the incumbent. He is leading over Bobby Kenzer, a Republican. Commissioner Precinct 3 in Hays County, Janine Poole, the Democrat, 52% of the vote. Craig Payne, a Republican, is trailing in the Precinct 3 County Commissioner's race in Hays County. Commissioner Precinct 1, Pedro Rodriguez, is leading in that race. Is also there's an independent candidate also running Commissioner Precinct 1 in Hays County. Daniel Rodriguez Scales also running. And County Constable Precinct 3 in Hays County, Don Emerson is the incumbent in that race, and he is leading his opponent by about a 2-to-1 margin in Hays County. In Williamson County, we're told that they are counting their ballots slowly but surely. Election officials say they ran out of ballots and voters had to use Xerox copies. Voter turnout very heavy in many parts of the state, and apparently that's the case in Williamson County, causing some problems. They are counting votes by hand counting the ballots, and that's taking some extra time. So we should begin to see primarily some early election results as a result of early voting that ended last Friday from Williamson County. So that should bring you up to speed with Hays County, Williamson County, and Travis County. KLBJ News Time 8:10. Continuous coverage of Campaign 92 continues in just a moment.
No more bull! No more bull!
If you want no more bull, no more bull. Longhorn's got the secret. Longhorn's got the plan.
This place is being run over with Rangers. We've got blue ones, red ones, green ones, white ones, and, well, we've got one with your name on it, and with a low price on it, too. The brand new, all restyled 1993 Rangers in stock at under $10,500.
Invoice may not reflect actual dealer cost.
No more bull, no more bull.
You really want a 93 Ford Explorer? Or how about the all-new Mercury Villager? But you just can't see paying suggested retail for it like most dealers want you to. Well, Longhorn's got the answer. Order any 93 Ford or Mercury through December 31st, and it won't cost you 1 penny over invoice. That's invoice. A little wait for a lot of savings. Up to $2,400, and that's no bull.
So come on down to Bastrop. That's where all the bull stops. No more bull, no more bull.
Longhorn Ford Mercury, Bastrop, Texas.
Hi, this is Chris Strand with Strand Brothers. And hardly anything excites my brother Tom, but he's excited about this. During our fall sale, you can save two ways. First, with 0% financing from the city of Austin, plus Lennox is offering a discount of up to $800. Pretty exciting news, isn't it, Tom?
I'm beside myself, Chris.
Now, you may not think Tom sounds excited, but believe me, he's pumped up about 0% financing and the $800 discount.
I wake up in the middle of the night thinking about it, Chris.
I can understand why. It's not every day you can save two ways on a new Lennox system, plus get solar screens, weather stripping, and extra insulation.
Sends a little chill down my spine.
If you're looking for a great deal on a quality Lennox system, call Strand Brothers. But hurry. I don't know how much longer we can keep Tom under control.
Save two ways during Strand Brothers Fall Sale with 0% financing and up to an $800 Lennox discount. For details, call Strand Brothers at 834-8627. License number 5199C.
Wow.
Roger, in my hand, I'm holding a dilemma.
Well, it looks like a roll of film to me.
But where shall I get it developed, Roger? At the place that claims to have the lowest prices, or the other place with a quality reproduction, or where you get double prints?
Yes.
Yes?
Kmart.
Kmart?
You get it all at Kmart.
You're kidding.
Hey, I don't kid about important things like our memories.
Roger.
And now, our low everyday Kmart photo finishing prices are lower than ever. See for yourself. So the next time you come to Kmart, don't forget the film.
Glad you made the party.
Yes, I'm late. I was in London. Yeah, that's the ticket. Having lunch with the Queen.
Oh, well, have some champagne.
Cook's champagne?
Yeah.
Well, I own Cook's, you know. Yeah, see the real cork and the classic bell-shaped punch bottle? I designed it.
You did?
I did? I mean, yeah, I did, yeah. It won me the Nobel Prize.
Move up to Cook's and try the great new Cook's Captain's Reserve wines like Chardonnay or Cabernet Sauvignon.
Where's your date?
Oh, the princess couldn't come. Her mother-in-law kept her home.
Cook's Champagne Cellars, Woodbridge, California.
Gardening, auto repair, home repair, and outdoor recreation. We've got the experts ready to give you free advice every weekend on News Talk 590, KLBJ AM.
Good evening, I'm Janet Evans. Live continuous coverage of Campaign 92 continues in Austin, and the latest results we have, according to the Associated Press, election returns in the race for president with 13% of the nation's precincts reporting. Bill Clinton capturing 43% of the popular vote, officially has won 6 states, including the District of Columbia, with 55 electoral votes total. This is officially. We're getting some other estimates. You've been hearing from the CBS Radio Network projections where he is leading, and then they feel comfortable about his anticipated electoral vote count as it stands at this particular point in the evening. President Bush, 41% of the vote, so popular vote, a margin separating Bill Clinton and President Bush of about 2 percentage point separation. Ross Perot, 16% of the vote at this point in time this evening, and leads in one state with 3 electoral votes, and that's where we are standing right now with the presidential race. Needed to win this race, of course, from the electoral perspective, 270 of the 538 electoral votes from the 50 states and the District of Columbia. And what happens with the Electoral College on December 14th, the 538 electors will meet in their state capitals to record their choices, which will be counted by Congress in January. So while we do all this today. We went to the polls today in popular vote and electoral vote, two different things. We talked earlier this evening about how there might be some speculation on the part of some people. Is this the system that we want to remain to keep with us? It's been with us since 1787. Our founding fathers established it. More than once, people have talked about the debate. Many people confused by this, confused that they think that the popular vote dictates when in actuality it's the Electoral College. So that's the national perspective. Also on a nationwide basis, 34 Senate seats and all 435 House seats will be decided in balloting, along with a host of referendums and initiatives. And while the presidential race gets the most attention, eyes are also focused this evening on Senate races in states like New York, California, Pennsylvania, and New Hampshire. We will be talking to Don Opiniak of CBS News next half hour at 8:40 about some of those races and also what's happening in Texas in terms of some exit polling data, what Texans thought as they left the polls today. Was it just a pocketbook issue when it came to the presidential race? We talked about a CBS News poll released yesterday that said 60% of those people surveyed said they didn't really trust Bill Clinton, but they thought he could do a better job of handling the U.S. economy, better job than Ross Perot and or President Bush. There's some things to talk about with Don Opiniak next half hour. We've also monitoring events in Travis County where the early votes have been counted. One key race that a lot of people are paying attention to, many key races in Travis County, but in the sheriff's race, Stacey Suits is holding a very slim lead over Republican Terry Keel in the Republican race. Libertarian Jeff Hill is also a candidate in the sheriff's race. So we'll be checking back with Ed Scruggs to get a complete rundown of the races being decided tonight in Travis County. They include County Tax Assessor Collector Nelda Ware Spears, the incumbent. She's running against Republican Irby Ford. County Commissioner, 2 seats in which we had appointees to the Travis County Commission. Now they are true people trying to win those seats outright. Barbara Carlson in Precinct number 2. County Commissioner Precinct 3, Valerie Bristol trying to win the seat. County Constable Precinct 2, Mike Simpson is the incumbent running against Bob Vann. County Constable Precinct number 3 in Travis County, Kevin Miskell is the incumbent running against Republican Ron Wildman. Some races that are happening in Travis County in addition to the legislative races. State of Texas, we have all 181 members of the legislature up for election this evening. And what we are talking about here locally, District 47, a newly created House seat. Jimmy Day is the Democrat in that race. Republican Susan Combs, hotly contested, bitter debate back and forth on whose ethics are better to play in the state legislature. We'll talk to Ed Scruggs about what's happening in District 47. District 48, Sherry Greenberg is the incumbent running against Republican Patrick Lanier. District 49, Elliot Naistat, unopposed. He'll be coming back, staying in Austin, as a matter of fact, going back to work at the state capitol. District 50, Wilhelmina Delco is the incumbent running against Vincent May, the Libertarian candidate. District 51, another hotly contested race in Travis County. Glenn Maxey, Democrat, is the incumbent. He is the only openly gay member of the Texas legislature. Dick Mallory is a Republican running against Glenn Maxey. This has received national play across the U.S. Both men were on the Phil Donahue show. We had allegations traded of homophobia, family issues, really a predominant issue in the District 51 race. And District 52, it's a Williamson County seat, but there is an anti-incumbent move on the part of Republican Mike Krusty to try to influence voters, try to convince voters that it's time for a change in District 52 in Williamson County. Parker McCullough is the incumbent, ran on a strong law and order platform, has some strong backing, personal appearances from key Democrats such as Governor Ann Richards. So another big race to follow, as well as some other statewide races across the state of Texas. Congressional races, as we mentioned earlier, 10th District Congressional incumbent, Democrat Jake Pickle, 29-year incumbent, trying to go back to Washington. He is opposed by Republican Herbert Spiro, Libertarian Terry Blum, Jeff Davis, and write-in candidate Stephen Hopkins. Also, Central Texas races, 14th District Congressional seat. Democrat Greg Laughlin is the incumbent. He's opposed by Republican Bert Garza and Vic Reland, an independent candidate. And District 21, which also encompasses Williamson County in Central Texas, Lamar Smith is the incumbent. He's a Republican. He's opposed by James Gaddy, a Democrat, and William Grisham, a Libertarian. KLBJ News Time, 8:20. Our live continuous coverage of Campaign 92 continues in just a moment.
Radio BFI.
Making good news this hour, Dateline, Austin, Texas. BFI, a Texas-based company, provides a full range of solid waste services available to individuals, large and small businesses, medical firms, and communities in Central Texas. They're indeed a strong partner in the solid waste business. For waste collection, you can depend on BFI, the waste collection choice of Austin. In other good news, littering on Texas highways is a thing of the past.
BFI. Commercial or industrial waste collection. BFI. Construction debris. BFI. Residential waste collection. BFI. Stationary compactors. BFI. Office recycling programs and services.
And the celebration is underway in Little Rock, Arkansas. Bill Clinton takes some papers from his hand and puts a fist into the air. Now embraces or just kisses his wife Hillary on the cheek. And Bill Clinton steps to the microphone.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. My fellow Americans, on this day, with high hopes and brave hearts in massive numbers, the American people have voted to make a new beginning. Election is a clarion call for our country to face the challenges of the end of the Cold War and the beginning of the next century. To restore growth to our country and opportunity to our people. To empower our own people so that they can take more responsibility for their own lives. To face problems too long ignored, from AIDS to the environment to the conversion of our economy from a defense to a domestic economic giant. And perhaps most important of all, to bring our people together as never before so that our diversity can be a source of strength in a world that is ever smaller, where everyone counts and everyone is a part of America's family. I want to begin this night by thanking my family, my wife, without whom I would not be here tonight. And who I believe will be one of the greatest first ladies in the history of this republic. I also want to say a special word of thanks to our daughter for putting up with our absence, for supporting our effort, for being brave in the face of adversity, and for reminding us every day about what this election is really all about. I want to thank my mother, my brother, my stepfather, my mother-in-law and father-in-law, my brothers-in-law, and my sister-in-law who carried this campaign across this country and stuck up for me when others were trying to put it down. I love them and I thank them. I want to thank the people of this wonderful small state. Time after time, when this campaign was about to be counted out, the Arkansas travelers exploded out of this state around the country to tell people the truth about what we had done here together, how we had pulled together, what we believed in, and what we could do as a nation. I had the best staff and cabinet you could imagine. They kept this state together, and even when we weren't here, we continued to lead the country in job growth, in keeping taxes and spending down, and in pulling the people of Arkansas together to show what we could do if the nation pulled together and moved forward too. I want to thank the people who were in that infamous group, the FOBs, the Friends of Bill and the Friends of Hillary. No person who ever sought this office was more aided by the friends of a lifetime, and I will never forget you. I want to thank the people in the new Democratic Party, headed by our chairman, Ron Brown, the new members of Congress, the new blood, the new direction that we are giving. And finally, I want to thank the members of my brilliant, aggressive, unconventional, but always winning campaign staff. They were unbelievable. And they have earned it. I want to say, if I might, a special word of thanks to two people who lost their lives in the course of this campaign, without whom we might not be here tonight. Our friends Paul Tully and Vic Razor, our prayers are with them. They're looking down on us tonight, and they're awful happy. Not very long ago, I received a telephone call from President Bush. It was a generous and forthcoming telephone call of real congratulations and an offer to work with me in keeping our democracy running in an effective and important transition. I want all of you to join with me tonight in expressing our gratitude to President Bush for his lifetime of public service, for the effort he made from the time he was a young soldier in World War II to helping to bring about an end to the Cold War, to our victory in the Gulf War, to the grace with which he conceded the results of this election tonight in the finest American tradition. Let's give Mr. Bush and his family a hand. I heard tonight Mr. Perot's remarks and his offer to work with us. I say to you, of all the things that he said, I think perhaps the most important that we understand here in the heartland of Arkansas is the need to reform the political system, to reduce the influence of special interests and give more influence back to the kind of people that are in this crowd tonight, to the tens of thousands, and I will work with him to do that. And finally, let me say how profoundly indebted I am tonight, beyond the folks at home, beyond the wonderful people who worked in this administration, the Lieutenant Governor and others to keep our government going, beyond all the others, I have to say a special word of thanks to my magnificent running mate, Senator Al Gore, and his family. Hillary and I have become friends. I admire them for what they stand for. They're enjoyable to be with. They believe in our country. Al Gore is a man of almost unparalleled combination of intelligence, commitment, compassion, and concern to the people of this country, to our obligation to preserve our environment, to our duty to promote freedom and peace in the world. And together, we're going to do our best to give you a new partnership for a new America. I want to thank Al's children, his brother-in-law, and his wonderful parents. They made about as many votes in some states as we did. I think we carried every state Senator and Mrs. Gore campaigned in. Their percentage was the best of all. I want to say that we have established a partnership in this campaign that we will continue into this new administration. For if we have learned anything in the world today, it is that we can accomplish more by teamwork, by working together, by bringing out the best in all. I remind you again tonight, my fellow Americans, that this victory was more than a victory of party. It was a victory for the people who work hard and play by the rules. A victory for the people who feel left out and left behind but want to do better. A victory for the people who are ready to compete and win in the global economy, but who need a government that offers a hand up, not a handout. That is what we offer, and that is what tomorrow we will begin to work to provide to all of you. Today, the steel worker and the stenographer, the teacher and the nurse, had as much power in the mystery of our democracy as the president, the billionaire, and the governor. You all spoke with equal voices for change. And tomorrow we will try to give you that. You can trust us to wake up every day remembering the people we saw in the bus trips, the people we saw in the town meetings, the people we touched at the rallies, the people who had never voted before, the people who hadn't voted in 20 years, the people who never voted for a Democrat, the people who had given up hope. All of them together are saying, we want our future back, and I intend to help give it to you. I say to all of those who voted for us, this was a remarkable coalition for change. Many of you had to put aside this or that personal ambition to be a part of a broad, deep commitment to change this country. I ask you to keep that commitment as we move from election to governing. We need more than ever, for those of you who said, let's put the public interest over personal interest, to keep it right there for 4 years so we can turn this country around. I say to all those who voted for Mr. Bush or Mr. Perot, those who voted for the president, those who voted for Ross Perot, I know you love your country too. I ask you to listen to the voice of your leaders. I ask you to join with us in creating a reunited states, a united country with a new sense of patriotism to face the challenges of this new time. We need your help too, and we will do our best to deserve it. When we seek to offer young people the opportunity to borrow the money they need to go to college and the challenge to pay it back through national service, when we challenge the insurance companies, the drug companies, the providers and the consumers, the government to give us a new health care system, when we offer those on welfare new opportunity and the challenge to move to work, when we ask companies to take the incentives we offer to put American people to work and export American products, not American jobs, all of this is a part of a new patriotism to lift our people up and enable all of us to live up to the fullest of our potential. I accept tonight the responsibility that you have given me to be the leader of this, the greatest country in human history. I accept it with a full heart and a joyous spirit. But I ask you to be Americans again, too. To be interested not just in getting, but in giving. Not just in placing blame, but now in assuming responsibility. Not just in looking out for yourselves, but in looking out for others, too. In this very place, 1 year and 1 month ago today, I said, we need more than new laws, new promises, or new programs. We need a new spirit of community, a sense that we're all in this together. If we have no sense of community, the American dream will continue to wither. Our destiny is bound up with the destiny of every American. We're all in this together, and we will rise or fall together. That has been my message to the American people for the past 13 months, and it will be my message for the next 4 years. Together, we can do it. Together, we can make the country that we love everything it was meant to be. I still believe in a place called home. God bless America. Thank you all. I would like to ask Senator Gore to come up here and say a few words as we begin our new partnership for a new country. Please welcome him to the platform.
Thank you, President-elect Bill Clinton. For Tipper and me and our 4 children, this has been an extraordinary journey. I want to, first of all, thank Bill and Hillary and Chelsea, knowing of all the sacrifices they have made and the hardships they have endured. And I would like to thank the person who is most important in my life, Tipper Gore. To our four children, Corinna, Kristen, Sarah, and Albert, to my parents, Albert and Pauline Gore, and to my brother-in-law, Frank Hunger, I can never express the thanks that I feel in my heart. This has been a time of discovery, a time of restored dreams and renewed hope, a time when the strength and promise of America has revealed itself, poised to meet the challenges of a new day. None of this could have been possible for me without the people of the state of Tennessee, and I want to thank them from the bottom of my heart. I also want to thank the wonderful men and women on the staff who have helped us secure this victory, and I want to say to all of you who have helped us reach this moment that I look forward to the high challenges of national office, and I consider it a matter of tremendous honor and pride to work in behalf of Bill Clinton to be successful in leading this nation toward a new and brighter future. Bill Clinton spoke sensibly and honestly to the American people. As the attacks against him became more and more desperate, he remained calm. He believed in the American people and kept faith that hope would indeed triumph over fear. Bill Clinton won because he was willing to lose. He refused to mislead voters. He stuck to his beliefs. He asked for your vote by challenging you to make America better. Where I come from, we have a name for that. It's called character. Bill Clinton will govern this nation in the same way. He truly is a new generation of Democrat. He believes in the rights of people, but he believes in the responsibilities of citizens as well. Our government's policies must be changed. The promise of America depends upon a commitment that under freedom we will enable the strong to prosper, but we will not abandon those in need of help. While we give supreme value to the rights of the individual, we expect that freedom to be exercised with respect toward others and with decent restraint. We respect the values of community, and among them is our obligation to protect the environment in which we live. We feel good tonight having won an election. But think of how we're going to feel when we change a country. There is a sense of excitement and possibility this evening. We have won, and many of you will be able to tell your children about it one day. But if we change this country, if we restore it to greatness, then we will have given them something much greater than the memory of this evening. We will have restored the basic thread in the American dream, the responsibility of one generation to the next. We will have given them back their future. This election is not simply a change of leaders. It is a change of generations. For the first time, the executive office will be occupied by leaders born after World War II. I don't want to overstate the dimensions of this difference. After all, neither Bill Clinton or myself are as young as Teddy Roosevelt or John Kennedy when they took office, nor does that change of generations represent a difference of belief. We share, as did our predecessors, an unyielding commitment to the principles on which this country was established over 2 centuries ago. But we will bring a different perspective and a renewal of energy. We are the children of modern America, close to its desires and to its difficulties, charged with the exuberant optimism which so often characterizes a younger generation of leaders. And only the optimists, only those who believe that constructive change is within our powers can hope to achieve it. And we intend to accomplish that achievement. Although this is not the first time we have witnessed the elevation of a new generation of leaders, it is the first time that both candidates have come from the South. It is symbolically an expression of the reality that sectional wounds of the past are finally and irrevocably healed. We are one country now, and merit, not geography, will from this time forward be the only test for the highest offices our nation has. And we pledge to you to work toward the day when gender and race will also be totally irrelevant to the selection of our leaders. The deeper meaning of this election is our commitment to end the divisions in our nation. Those who helped us to win this victory represented an astonishing diversity of interests and opinions. They were willing to put aside those differences in pursuit of a common cause. Let us now bring the same spirit of accommodation which won this election to the far harder task of governing this nation. We all have a common stake in national growth, in justice, and in the strengthening of freedom. Surely, if we could bridge our differences for the sake of an election, we can put them aside on behalf of a far greater cause, the future of the American nation. The election is a mandate for change. It is good to remember that this election also affirms certain fundamental things about our lives together as Americans. We are still participants in a great experiment: the sovereignty of the people to rule themselves, the power to create and to destroy governments of persons elected from among them, and the idea that governments exist in order that citizens may exercise their inherent rights to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. These are still the most radical political ideas ever expressed in the history of nations. And this year, it was, after all, the American people who forced the debate to stay on the issues when others would wander. This year, it was you, the people, who disciplined our politics, our politicians, and everyone else to focus on the things that matter to you. And you have given us a great opportunity to help America move forward, to end the distress of the present, and to renew this nation's voyage toward ever-enlarging opportunity for all our people. And that's the journey we will attempt. Not just Governor Clinton and I, but all of those who supported us and those multitudes who may have voted for our opponents, but who share our belief in America's great possibilities. And so to all of you, I say, welcome aboard the great ship USA. We're about to embark on a new journey together, and it's time for us to go.
KLBJ News Time, 11:50. Good evening. I'm Janet Evans. This is live continuing coverage of Campaign 92 from Little Rock, Arkansas, where Arkansas Governor Bill Clinton, now President-elect Bill Clinton, talked to his supporters, delivered a victory speech. Go now to the Travis County Election Central, the counting station for Travis County votes this evening. KLBJ AM's Ed Scruggs reports live from Palmer Auditorium.
Well, Janet, the race for Travis County Sheriff is still far from over as it stands with 151 of 195 precincts reporting. The Republican Terry Keel is holding a lead of about, almost 6,000 votes over Democrat Stacy Suits. There are still several boxes out, however. This race is tightening as we get down here to the wire. Joining me now is Travis County Democratic Chairman Gary Bledsoe. Gary, this is a very important race. You mentioned earlier the night's been great, but you're holding out for this one race. What do you think the chances are?
I think the chances are about 50-50. I know that it doesn't look good at this point, but I am very much aware that the precincts that have not been counted as yet include many precincts that are very, very good Democratic precincts. I think we're going to gain a lot. However, I don't know that we're going to gain 6,000 votes, but I think there's a good chance.
If Terry Keel is able to win this, he will become the first non-Democrat to become sheriff in Travis County. How big of a loss would that be for the Democratic Party here?
Well, it's a major loss for either party, really. I think the chief law enforcement officer of the county, being of a different political party from the commissioner's court or what